Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of Friday Night LAIKA. We are here today to try a little thing called Saints and Scholars, where we're going to have a look at a bunch of different amazing Irish writers to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which is, of course, today. So, the writers that I've got brains for, and they're all here. I've made a little special favourite space for all of my Irish brains. So we've got Carmilla by Sheridan Le Fanu, Gothic vampire novella. We've got Dracula by Bram Stoker. We've got Dubliners by James Joyce. Melmoth the Wanderer by Charles Maturin. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. The Candle of Vision by George William Russell, also known as A.E. And Time in the Gods by Alfred Lord Dunsany. So we're going to have a look at those 7 brains and we're going to make something with them. And what that something is, let us find out. Oh, hello, Catherine. Nice to see you here today. And I hope you will help me to craft something really nice out of these 7 brains. And we'll see where we get. So, yes, I already said Saints and Scholars, it's what we're up to. St. Patrick's Day special. It is St. Patrick's Day, and I do have, in fact, a little beer here with me today. I'm also wearing my green. We've also been to Kennedy's. So it's all happening here. And I don't know if you notice, but Martin changed something in LAIKA, on my LAIKA here, just for today. So, Riddy, this is for you. Spot the green Easter egg on LAIKA today. So, before we started on what we're going to do today, I wanted to just have a quick, tiny look at one of the pieces that we did last week, because last week we worked with William Burroughs and Brian Geison's book, The Third Mind, to create Cut-Up Technique 2.0. And I just wanted to share the beautiful piece that we made here, because Catherine and I, we decided to write a little piece on love. And I just really love what we got out of it. So I'll read it out here. So I cut up a bunch of love poems to try and dissect what they were really all about. Just words, one after another. There was nothing in there. But when I put the words back together, what I found was that these poems, like so many other writings of the past, had a spiritual underbelly. Woven deep into the letters, hidden in the blank spaces, was a kind of dark matter, a contagious virus, fragments of writing that were both spiritual and biological. Reading the words activated something inside, a psychic center, like the heart of a star, pulsing and powering the text. A hum in the heart, beats in the blood, and through and beyond it all, a million voices chanting, dancing, calling, let us go, let us go. So I really enjoyed making that one, and I think it feels to me like one of the best Write with LAIKA pieces that we've made, so I'm very happy with it. But back to LAIKA, and today, and Saints and Scholars, and our beautiful green magic button that we are hopefully going to maintain for the entire session. So to give us a prompt for today, so Catherine, please pop in anything that you have in mind that you want us to work with. But I thought we could start off with some prompts from The Toast. So The Toast was an internet magazine that I absolutely loved, that made some really amazing, I don't even know what you'd say, like internet pieces back in the day, maybe 10 years ago. Daniel Mallory Ortberg wrote a piece on texts from H.P. Lovecraft, which was absolutely hilarious. And so they wrote this piece about every Irish novel ever. They'd also done other nationalities too. So I had a great laugh today looking at every Irish novel ever here. So like, fleeing the impoverished drunken countryside for Dublin, the estate decays. We do not speak that name in these parts, stranger. The English. Anyway, it goes on, but the best one is right down the bottom. And I feel like, Catherine, this one is going to be very familiar to you, because this, we really could say, is how all of our Write with LAIKA sessions go. Something starts, we do a few prompts, we move a little bit deeper into the story and we discover some things, and then conditions worsen. They always do, and we end up with our demons or in hell or with death or murder. Whatever's going to happen, conditions worsen. So when I saw this, I thought, yes, this is it. This is what we're doing today. So we could pick one of these to start with. Like perhaps we could start with The Washerwoman Coughs. I mean, The Washerwoman Coughs is a good start to a story that could be really about anything and does not, in fact, have to worsen in conditions. So Catherine, let me know what you think. But otherwise, I'm going to start with the washerwoman coughs. And if we get stuck, we can come back here and have a little look more at what else there might be. The boy dies. Everyone starts talking about the wallpaper. The funeral is ruined. Okay, but actually, let's write something. We got to write. We got to write today. So, the washerwoman coughs. And like I said, I have all of my beautiful Irish brains here in my favourite zone, so we can easily grasp them at the moment that we want to use them. So, yeah, there are some I've used before that'll be familiar to folks who've been around. Like last Halloween, I used Carmilla, and of course Dracula, one of our favourites. I just made this Dubliner's Brain this morning from James Joyce's short story collection. I did previously have a Ulysses Brain, but it wasn't so good. It's a little bit too all over the place, Ulysses, to make a good brain. But Dubliners is very good. Melmoth the Wanderer, absolute fever dream of a thing. Absolutely like 50-50 toss-up of a coin, whether you're going to be happy with what you get from Melmoth or not, which I think is perfectly in line with that book, which I very much enjoyed. Picture of Dorian Gray, also good, but very much sticks to its source material more than a lot of things. Candle of Vision, we're talking some transcendent essays on Celtic mysticism. So George William Russell is one of my heroes, actually, from back in the day. And as I used to walk to work, I would often walk past the office that he used to sit, and he would sit and write in his office about how miserable it is to work in an office. And I would walk to my office and like salute George on the way. And Time and the Gods, which is a kind of vivid fantasy. So perhaps we'll start with a little bit of Dubliners. Just see how that feels. We'll start with the washerwoman coughs and see where we get. I don't know where we're going to get. I don't know what's going to happen. That's always the beauty of this, isn't it? The washerwoman coughs once or twice, then kicks the canister vigorously. Everyone claps and whistles. Okay, so this is a little bit of getting a feeling the washerwoman is a bit of a party girl. Or she coughs and wheezes with labour. Or she coughs once or twice. And the little man takes off his hat. Oh, we have a visitor. Let me hang on a second while I have a look at our visitor's comment. Oh, you want to offer promotion of our channel? Oh, okay, we don't want promotion of our channel. Catherine, my dear, would you mind kicking the channel promoters away? It is not what our channel is for. Okay, so I think we'll go back to the first one and keep the first two lines. I think the first two lines are going to be perfect. No worries, Catherine. It's not a big deal if it's not easy, so don't worry. The washerwoman coughs once twice and kicks the canister vigorously. Everyone claps and whistles. Okay, so now I'm wondering what is about the canister. Why is she kicking the canister and what is going on? So I think the canister could be the next thing that happens here. Claps and whistles, but warily, as if they know this isn't the end of it. The canister rattles on the ground. Okay, so perhaps we'll see another brain. But I don't want to get into the horror brains too quickly because, I mean, we're going to end up there anyway. So maybe, and that's kind of hard because there are a lot of them are horror brains. But maybe we'll just try a little bit of Time of the Gods. He's the one that probably matches the least with the rest. So let's see what he has to say. It stands on the door swung shut. It slides under the feet of the clutches of men. Okay, I like that. I like that one a lot. The cry of laughter and the door swung open. Okay, so I think it has to be this second one here and what we're feeling. The canister rattles on the ground. It slides under the feet and away from the clutches of men. And then I think we'll take away this last piece here because it's very fantasy and it's not going to match with a lot of the other brains we have. The canister rattles on the ground. It slides under the feet and away from the clutches of men. rolls out of the door and away into the field. Under the moonlight, glistens like a salmon leaping upstream. Okay, the washerwoman coughs again. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, the washerwoman coughs again. Let's see what Dorian Gray has to give us for this one. And what have we used so far? We've used Alfred and we've used James Joyce. So I want to make sure we get a little bit of everybody in. And now we're going to try Oscar. Okay, the washerwoman coughs again. Dun, dun, dun. The children run to the mother. The flies buzz around and die away. Okay, this is nice. Children run after the still body. A man is seen creeping slowly towards the house. The flies buzz in the dripping leaves. Okay, shall we say conditions worsen? I think conditions worsen. The sky is like a monstrous jade. Thank you so much, Catherine. That is excellent. It is very great to have you doing that because I'm not actually inside of Twitch when we're doing the stream. I can just see the chat. So it's very helpful. Thank you. Okay, this is wild. This is some wild business here. And the children laugh. The washerwoman stomps back. Okay, that's a bit boring. So I kind of like the children run to their mother and then the flies buzz and die away. I think that's pretty good. This is a little bit too excessive for how deep we are into the story. So let's see. The children run to their mother and she clutches them to her chest. Just them to her chest in the doorway. She clutches them to her chest. Outside, where the canister has rolled to a stop. The flies buzz around above and die away, falling to the mud. Okay, I don't think we need to bring Dorian himself into the story. Not quite what's necessary. Okay, so what do we have so far? We've got this washerwoman who's perhaps not too healthy, but she has children. There's something in this canister. She's inside of a house, and in the house there are a lot of other people. We've got these people clapping and whistling, and they try to get the canister, but the canister rolls away. So this house or building or whatever it is inside some kind of field, and it's nighttime. I mean, I know I've made all this stuff up, but that's how it works. But I've made the stuff up, and now it's true, and now it's a rule. So it's nighttime, and they're inside. Perhaps it's some kind of like farmhouse or a village pub in the countryside. But what we really want to know is what's in that canister. That's what's really interesting. And why are they cheering against the men getting the canister? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought that they were clapping and whistling because she kicked the canister, because there's something dangerous in the canister. The canister is somehow wrong or evil. That's why we connect the flies to them dying away there. But yeah, let's find out. One of the men. Should we send a man out there, or should we send the washerwoman? Now the washerwoman, she's our girl. She's our hero. Okay. So the children run to their mother. She clutches them to her chest. Outside of the canister, also the flies buzz around, die away, falling into the mud below. The washerwoman dries the tears of her children. Then hands them over washerwoman dries the tears of her children. Then she sets them down. And moves to the door. Moves to the door. With purpose. To the door. Okay, we have the door. You see it in the field. She sets them down and moves with purpose to the door. Standing in the door frame, she squints against the moonlight. She squints against the full moon. And glares the canister, the steel canister, waiting in the field. Okay, waiting in the field. So now we'll move on to another person. And I think this might be a good time for us to try a little bit of George. No, Charles. Let's try some Charles Maturin. He is wild business. So this could go anywhere now, right? I put my hands up and say I don't know where Charles is going to go. He goes weird places. But let's find out. Let's just see where he goes. Okay, the door opens. Well, the door is already open, so great work, Charles. Let's try the second one. She hears the door open and steps out into the bright, dry, hot air. Hears the voices of the mourners. Okay, or she hears the voices of the travellers near, and they gloat on her with derision. But she says nothing, because her conscience has been now softened for a few moments. Okay, that's interesting. This one I think is the only one that actually fits because we know the door is open. She's standing in the door frame, looking outside. So this is the one that we got to make fit into what's happening. So let's see. She hears the voices of travellers nearby. But she says nothing. Because the fewer witnesses to all this nonsense, the better. She strides out into the field. Just checking, we've done Charles. So now we can choose our last three. We have Sheridan, George, and Bram as our choices for the last three. What do you think, Catherine? Which would you like to go for? Sheridan Le Fanu, who wrote the Gothic vampire novella, Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula, or A.E. essays on Irish mysticism. They're all going to be weird. Carmilla, yes, okay. I know, Carmilla is also one of my faves. It tends to perform well. Okay, she strides out into the field. Let's see what happens. And we follow where she has led the stranger who was following in a carriage laden with 2 servants who were already approaching. Okay, I'm not 100% into this because I feel like we have enough people. We just need to know what is in the canister. And following Carmilla follows the old woman to where the old general and his servants stood a little way behind. Okay, or where I followed and found a good many people walking about near the foot of the bridge. Now, there's something interesting here. There's a lot of following, there's a lot of following here. But there is something interesting here because so far in this story, we've been looking out from this this kind of omniscient perspective. We're looking at the washerwoman, we're looking down like it from a godly view. We're seeing the washerwoman and the men and the children and the moon and the rolling canister going out into the field. And this is the first time where we're bringing in a perspective that kind of contradicts that or does something different. And I kind of like this. So I feel like I followed is the one we want. Yeah. Okay, good, Catherine. I'm glad you agree. But we don't need any of this other stuff here. As always, with when we're messing around with writing an AI, the most important thing is just to let it bring out what's in you, and to let it like help you with some constraints to make something interesting and to find something that's there. Like, you know, you're brushing off something like archaeology, finding something hidden, something buried, and then bringing it up and polishing it like a jewel. It's not like we have to stick to the thing that the AI says. That's, I mean, that would only be if the AI were in charge, but we're in charge. Yes, I like the walking in a circle too, Catherine. I think we're going to stick with we're going to keep that walking in a circle. Um, Even though it's adding in lots more people and complexity to the story that we're trying to find out what's in the canister, but maybe that's good. Like you say, maybe it's a ritual. So maybe you want to have this ritual added in to what the canister is. Okay. She strides out into the field where I follow. I'm just going to fix the tense as well. Where I follow. She strides out into the field where I follow. And others do too. They walk in a circle around the canister, trying to see what would happen next. Okay. I hang back, but they walk in a circle, the canister, trying to see what could happen next. Okay. Okay, lovely. So I think we will now go for George William Russell and see what he has to say, and then we'll finish this piece with Dracula, and then we'll make another one. Okay, but of course we'll make a picture first. Okay. Behind me is a man with a grey shawl speckled with golden threads, and a girl with grey watchful eyes. Okay, this sounds very like Bloodborne or something, the villagers of Bloodborne. Something big is about to happen. I stay put as the procession winds away, but others follow, many topless, many with wild eyes fixed on the procession. Or I stay put as the procession winds swiftly along the dusty roads. At last, at a bend in a road, the man emerges from the darkness, and pale and trembling, he clutches at the misty substance with his fingers and wails in anguish. Oh, yeah. So let's just have a quick glance at this, but I think this is the one. The man with the shawl, something's about to happen. Or the procession winds. I think this is the one. I think I stay put. As the washerwoman picks up the canister. I walks towards the cliffs. The procession winding along the dusty roads behind her. At last, just at a bend, in the road, a man emerges from the darkness, and pale and trembling, he clutches at the misty substance. Yeah. He clutches at the canister. Clutches at the canister. A misty substance exudes from the canister. He wails in anguish and drops the canister upon the earth. Crack. The canister splits wide open, revealing. Let's find out what Bram has for us. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. Revealing. Oh, I should move down the page a bit. A mass of burning metal and a cloud of vapor shot forth like a pillar of flame, and the professor is now in a paroxysm of rage. I mean, well, the professor hasn't existed yet, so I'm not mad about him. But I like the first part. Okay, let's see what else there is. The professor himself, lying in a pool of his own blood, breathing in a foul gas, and his eyes are all red. Okay, or a mass of white goo. And now the professor again. His eyes close and he gasps and is lying in a pool of his own excrement. This sounds wrong. Okay. I think the first one is the one that's going to be safest for us to illustrate with stable diffusion. If that's a way we should be thinking about our story and how it goes. Yeah, I don't think the professor fits in a canister that can be kicked around by a washerwoman. So I'm going to go for the first one. A mass of burning metal from which a cloud of vapor shot forth like a pillar of flame. The cloud billowed out, surrounding the washerwoman and all who followed close behind her. Wait, we've changed tense somewhere here. She hears, I stay put. A man emerges. A substance exudes, he wails, splits, revealing, billows. Cloud billows out, surrounding us and all who followed close behind her. Back behind the trees, I watch. And when it is clear that they are all gone, I return to the inn. Lie in. Okay, I think that is story one for today. The washerwoman. How big can we get? Can we see all of it in the inn? The washerwoman. Can't see the whole thing at once, but yeah. So I'm going to read between the lines here, as I often do. Conditions did indeed worsen. We did meet the brief. I hope we can do as good for the next one. So I'm reading between the lines here, and what I'm seeing in this pattern is that we have a kind of a bigger story. As always, this is always the case with these Friday Night LAIKA stories. We start with something small, and we stretch it and stretch it and stretch it, and then it sits like this little seed. But we can see so much further beyond this little seed. So as soon as we brought in I follow, that became the start of the story becoming a totally different story, right? It was no longer about the washerwoman and the canister being specifically connected together. It's now about me. I'm the person who's watching and I'm seeing what's happening. But do I have a bigger role? And yes, I do have a bigger role, because obviously, I'm the one who brought the canister. They don't know this, or they don't suspect me, or whatever it is that they think is happening, I brought some horrible little magic into this place, and now it's my place because they're all gone. They were lured into, with their own curiosity and hubris, into figuring out what was in the canister. And you shouldn't figure out what's in the canister, because what's in the canister is never going to be good. You want to hang back and see what happens. Then maybe inherit an inn in the middle of the countryside, and probably those children too, unfortunately, who you're probably going to have to take care of now. Maybe they'll be the fodder of another story. Okay, but I'm going to illustrate this one and then save it, and then we'll make another story. Okay, so let's see which of these things works for a picture. I don't want it to be too scary. Perhaps the man exuding from maybe this piece here. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Oh my goodness. This is wild. I mean, this is definitely the dusty roads, but is that the canister that she's kind of like supposed to be kicking along? Let's see what else there is. Or this. Or this. You know, even though, yeah, you know, I think this is the one. It's like, oh yeah, she picked up the canister. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. I mean, look at it. This is exactly the canister. Yes, Mar, the green button is amazing. We're loving it. This is a very biblical image. I love it. She picks up the canister and walks towards the cliffs. And the procession is behind her. And I like it because we're also behind her, you know, in our story. This is where we would be. This is what we're looking at. So we didn't see the dark man arrive, but that's okay. From the shadows, we have the woman walking towards the cliff. So what I'm going to do is save this one. I'm going to call this Conditions Worsen because I think it's perfect. So Conditions Worsen. Beautiful. And I'm going to save it. Very nice. So whenever we save something with LAIKA onto a doc, I'm just going to open it up for you here. Or actually, you can't see that, unfortunately. But it basically, it makes a nice docx, and it keeps the pink text in pink and the black text in black, and everything exactly the way it's formatted. So you'll always be able to see which bits you wrote and which bits LAIKA wrote. And Mara is also implementing a new thing which will actually show you at the bottom of the document which brains were used while you were making it as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm going to clean the slate. Catherine, is there anything else you want to add to this one or say about this one before the slate is cleaned and we start on the number 2? And look at this great image, Mara. Isn't this great? I mean, this canister, this is the actual canister that explodes with a cloud of vapor that shoots forth in a pillar of flame. Really, really love this. Very biblical. Okay, well, there we go. We're cleaning the page. And you see, it's very helpful. It'll also ask you if you want to save before you go on, but we're just going to proceed because I did save because I'm on the ball. Okay, next adventure. Let's go back to our Every Irish Novel Ever and see what appeals to us from the rest of these wonderful pieces. So, Catherine and Martin, whoever, if you would like to choose our next piece, please let me know. A Funeral is Ruined. You got it, Mar. A Funeral is Ruined. So that's number 12. Here we go. Let's get in there. Okay, so Would anyone like to pick the brain we're going to start with? The boy is good too. We don't talk about the boy. Yeah, I know. I know. We don't talk about the boy. Hopefully, it's not his funeral because that would really ruin his funeral if we weren't talking about him. AE. Okay, we're going to start with AE. And we're going to start with a little line. We have to start with a little line. Okay. Let me just gather my thoughts for a second here. Everyone knew it was a mistake to invite. I always find it so hard to remember names of people who aren't the people I'm talking to right now, but I don't want to put you poor guys into this story about a funeral. So everyone knew it was a mistake to invite. I'm trying to think of an Irishy name as well. Peg. To invite Peg to the funeral. He is a weird figure, Mar, and if you actually search for George William Russell and Charlene Putney and Dublin Writers Festival, you'll find a really nice article that I wrote about him about 10 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago this week. Yeah, I meant to share that as well as part of the start, but I won't search around for it now. Okay. I should have some guts, Catherine. Maybe I'll get you in there. I mean, it is a funeral, but there can still be a murderer. There can always be a murderer. So George William Russell was a theosophist, and he was around. He was a really good friend of Yeats, and he was part of the writing community. And there was a really strong writing community in Ireland around kind of the teens, between like 1910 and 1922. And he was also part of a very strong magical community because there was also a very strong magical community among Irish writers at that time. And he wrote a lot about visions and about purpose and life. And part of it was that he had a very, very boring job where he worked in an office like transcribing things from one thing to another, from one piece to another. And he had most of his great visions when he would be sitting doing his most boring work and looking out the window. So he was a great inspirational figure to me, always. Yeah, he is a super proper weirdo and a great inspiration. So I love him. I love him. And it's a great book, The Candle of Vision. Okay, so let's see what he brings us anyway. I got a little lost there thinking about him. He is a Ligotti style worker, yeah, Mar. But why do the people of Ireland feel this way? Okay, this is very a dramatic start. I think we want something a bit smaller. But nobody spoke of it to his own kin, and nobody asked the Lord of the feast to forgive them. Whew. Okay, that's a nice line. Too proud, too proud, too proud to let, too proud to let. Okay, the middle one. But nobody said as much to their own kin. And nobody asked the Lord of the feast to forgive them for that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Kafka also had a boring job, Mar. I think this, I probably would get a great burst of creativity if I had to do a boring job again, but I don't want to. I do not want to. I would prefer to have my exciting job and right here and channel the spirit of George in other ways. Okay, everybody knew it was a mistake. I prefer everybody than everyone as well, yeah. Everybody knew it was a mistake to invite Peg to the funeral, but nobody said as much to their own kin, and nobody asked the Lord of the feast to forgive them for that. That's a little bit weird, actually. I think. What do you think, guys? Should we keep the Lord of the feast, or do we ditch the Lord of the feast and just keep the own kin business? I'm really tempted now to do an image on Kafka Loved Milk. I think it would be extremely strange. Keep. Okay, we keep. And nobody asked the Lord of the Feast to forgive them for that. For forgiveness is a right saved for action, and none is required for silence, even when the silence leads to events. Silence. I'm not sure about this part. None is required for silence. Forgiveness is a right save for action, and none is required for silence. But we shall hold our tongue for now and speak more. Speak of it later and speak. So we shall hold our tongue for now and speak only of the facts. Fact 1. Seamus died. That's fact 1. Okay, so who have we used so far? We used George. Wonderful. Seamus died. I think this is a good Dubliner's line. Good Dubliner's time. Fact 2, he had a stroke. That could be it. That could be. The body was found floating in the river. Oh my goodness, he said they say the devil drinks in the silence, but I think they mean the opposite. Oh my God. Yes, I love that it got the structure of fact 2. However, this one is doing a callback to the silence, and silence not being a sin, and how the devil drinks in the silence. And this is just wild. Wild good. Let's see what number 3 is. Fact 2, he was buried in the cemetery in Wicklow Street. That doesn't make him a heretic. Oh my God, these are really good. Aye, aye, aye. All 3 good. So he either had a stroke, or he was found in the river, or he was buried in a cemetery, but it doesn't make him a heretic. Oh my goodness, these are really good. I think the Dubliner's brain is a very good one. We should work on this more. I am very tempted to go for the silence. The devil. Keep the devil no matter what. Yeah, number 2. And then maybe add 3 as fact 3. Yeah, unfortunately, Catherine, it's really hard to do that, but let's see if we can. Let's copy this bit. Whoops. No, I didn't want to do that. Oh no, now I can't. No, I can't swap it. Mar! The very fix you made. And now it's gone forever. Aye, aye, aye. Because I tried to copy it. And now it's not changeable anymore. Aye, aye, aye. You fixed it in the new version. Oh no. Well, it's too late. Can we remember what he said about the silence? The devil is in the silence. Well, it's fact 2 now. Fact 2. He was buried in the cemetery in Wicklow Street. That doesn't make him a heretic. Aye, aye, aye. I'm very sad about this. Very sad about this. The silence. I wanted the silence so bad. Yeah, it is true. They're all good. So we just take this as this is how it is. Fact 1, he died. Fact 2, he was buried in the cemetery in Wicklow Street. That doesn't make him a heretic, no matter what anyone says. He was just a man of the world. And the world will not forget. It was a sergeant, right? What Sergeant Crowley said when he fished him out of the river. devil drinks in the silence. Although some say it's quite the opposite. Well, something like that. Something like that. The sergeant was also, he was the first on the scene, yeah. And I'm just going to add this. I can't have these little spelling checks. They say the devil drinks in the silence, but I think they mean the opposite. Okay, that's even better. Okay, great remembering everybody on the team. Okay. Okay, so what have we got? Peg is at the funeral. Everyone knew it was a mistake. We got some weird stuff about a Lord of the Feast. And we're just talking about the facts because it's not a sin to be silent. Fact 1, Seamus died. Fact 2, he was buried in the cemetery in Wicklow Street. That doesn't make him a heretic, no matter what anyone else says. He was just a man of the world, and the world will not forget what Sergeant Crowley said when he fished him out of the river. They say the devil drinks in the silence, but I think they mean the opposite. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, thanks, Rudy. Great remembering. Everyone on the ball here. Okay, so the devil drinks in silence, but I think they mean the opposite. Okay, let's get back to Seamus's funeral. These are our facts. Well, maybe we have a fact 3. I think we might have a fact 3. Fact 3. Let's move away from Dubliners now and let's give Dorian a try. Fact 3. Whew. James Joyce is great. I think we might have to go back to him again. Okay, sad smiles with Lord Henry. Dorian Gray himself. Again. Or... I'm not convinced by any of these. Fact 3. The man is still dead. Beautiful. I think that's enough facts. Yeah, Dorian always wants to talk about Dorian. Fact 3. The man is still dead. Even though. Fact 1, Seamus died. Fact 2, he was buried. Fact 3, the man is still dead. Okay, yeah, so there's definitely something weird here, okay? Like, this thing about him being a heretic and the devil, and now he's still dead. There's definitely something very strange about Seamus and his death and how it happened. And I'm not sure how much we care about Seamus's death because we're really interested in the funeral and how it's ruined. Now bring the devil. Okay, Mar, what do you mean by bring the devil here? Give me more info. It is interesting that he is still dead. Being a man of the world, yeah. That cemetery is only for people of the world. Yeah. Fact 3. The man is still dead. Even though he always swore by those talismans, those relics, those tatty bits of old parchment he had rolled up and stowed all over. Scratches of red ink he'd never die. Not really. But not the way a man of Christ would say it. Different. Sneering somehow. Scratches of red ink. Symbols that would make you shiver to catch a glimpse of them. Okay. Oh, I lost. Bring little Carmilla in next. Mar, I only can see you say, I can Google, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I didn't see what you had before that. I was too in the zone. Can you tell me what you said before? I can Google, I'm not a Bible scholar. Because I'm a little lost. I got too excited about my wording. The devil is the ruler of this world. Okay. Yes, a man of the world. Very nice. Fact 3. The man is still dead. Man of the world. Yeah. Really good. Okay. Here we are. At the funeral. Nobody wanted to come. Not really. But it's the done thing, isn't it? Okay, Catherine, I'm going to get back to that. Let me just finish this line here. But it's the done thing, isn't it? Sure, what would the neighbours say if he didn't show up? Okay, now the man of the world thing. He used to laugh when we called him a man of the world, as if it held some meaning for him. Oh wait, here. When we said he was a man of the world. As if it held some other meaning for him. Okay, here we go. The man is dead. The man's funeral is here. We know he was not supposed to still be dead. Something's going on, and Peg is the one who's going to bring it and make it happen. Something is going to happen. Okay, here we are at the funeral. Nobody wanted to come. Not really. It's a done thing, isn't it? Sure, what would the neighbours say if he didn't show up? Fact 4. Fact 4. Peg's here. Peg's here. Wrapped in her shawl. And glaring at every one of us. As if we killed him ourselves. Okay, I am going to go back to LAIKA, don't worry. I'm just getting so into it. Okay, Carmilla, you said, Catherine. Let's go for a bit of Carmilla. Bam. Let's see. Okay, something about her being ill, or my father said, don't be frightened. I felt a kind of chill, as if the fever were running through my body. Ooh, okay, so I'm really into my father, who's trying to make the best of a bad situation at this funeral, even though he knows that some shit is really about to go down, versus I'm already knowing that shit is going to go down because I'm feeling the chill of the fever going through my body. So, what do you think? Father or fever? Father fever. Both, always both. I can't do both. You saw what happened last time I tried to do both. It was a disaster. um, fever, chill, and then dad trying to calm. Okay. I felt a kind of chill under her gaze, as if a fever were running through my body. Then she began to talk, and very pleasantly, too pleasantly. She mentioned how her husband was very ill. My father, bless him. My father, bless him. Sympathized with her. Yeah, it's good, Catherine, because often when you and I are doing these, like I often write little pieces that we want to come back to later on my piece of paper. I think it would be great if we had a little like cutting board, a little snippet zone. Yeah, it makes you think of the uncle from Dairy Girls. Oh my God, Colum. Oh, my father, bless him, sympathized with her. Sympathized with her. But then he began to cough. He was coughing. I was burning up. And I could see Sheila collapse to the ground on the other side of the room. Okay, let's try a little bit of Charles Maturin, speaking of fever dreams, because that's his vibe. And then I think we can kind of wrap it together. I feel like I can feel where it's coming. I feel like I can see it. And let's see what happens. I shuddered, I was terrified. My mother was terrified. I was terrified, trembling with terror. There's a lot of terror. Okay, just move down a bit. I thought I could die of it. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's gonna have to be this first one. I shuddered, I was terrified. I think that's what I got from that one. It's not too exciting. Because now I feel this is the thing that happens as well. It's like I feel like I know, yeah, exactly, Catherine. It's like a lot going on, but nothing at all. And when you start to get the feeling of like where it's going, it's like now I wanted to connect with what I wanted to do, instead of just to uncover something. So I shuddered, I was terrified. All around. People were dropping like flies. I was going to say about the drink. The devil drinks in the silence, but I think they mean the opposite. Dropping like flies. Screaming. Peg just smiled and walked over to the casket. Of course, it's a wake, not a funeral. Yeah, me too, Catherine. Peg just smiled and walked over to the casket at the edge of the casket. quivering hand. My father choked his last breath. The hand gripped the casket. Sheila. Sheila gasped and was no more. The hand. Sheila gasped and was no more. Oh, Sheila's hand grasps. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, Catherine. Like they're like Peg is like channeling their death into Seamus's life, and that's why they did. Like they knew Peg had some dark magic in her. That's why they didn't want her to come to the funeral. And now that she's here, she's like activating them to get sick to raise Seamus back to life, and that's what it is. I want to bring in that drinking of the silence. Seamus's hand, reaching out. Seamus's hand. Sheila gasped and was no more. Seamus rose from the casket. Clasped Peg's hand. Okay, I think we need to bring... He could sit up and drink in the air. Ooh, rose from the casket. Drank in the air. So what did we say about the drinking? The devil drinks in the silence. Yeah. Seamus rose from the casket and drank in the air. Yeah, nice, Catherine. Nice. I was in no great shape. I was in no great shape. But I could see what was happening. Their breath silenced. And the devil drinking it up for his own means. Ooh! Okay, let's finish with one bit from somebody because we're getting over the time and I don't want to be too long. What do you think, Catherine? Who do you think is going to have our last good line for us here? I'm kind of tempted to go back to Carmilla again. I mean, is that wrong? Carmilla or Dracula, maybe? Okay, back to Carmilla. Lose my life. Oh, I'll scroll up a bit, sorry. Come out of courthouse, that's a little bit out of the way. Whew. Okay, I think with this one, soon even that murmuring died away. And my own breath gave out last time. Okay. A funeral is ruined. Indeed. Okay. The Lord of the Feast. We never got back to the Lord of the Feast. I wanted the Lord of the Feast, but I'm really happy that we got this in because this was the key. The devil drinks in the silence, but they mean the opposite. Okay, so what is going to be the piece that makes a good picture? And then we will finish up. Seamus dying? Or maybe Peg? Yeah, the funeral was a big success for Seamus and Peg. I mean, I don't really know what Peg's vibe is and her husband being ill. But let's go for the parchment. Let's go for this piece here. Okay. I don't know what it's going to look like. It could really be anything, but we'll see. Oh my god, that is not Seamus. That is not Seamus. This is as bad as Joe's little black wig. This though, this I like. But maybe this one. Or maybe we should do it again and take out the Man of Christ, because I think that's throwing us off a little bit. I think that's making it weird. Talismans. Relics. Tiny bits of parchment rolled up and stowed up over. Marked with scratches of red ink. Okay, maybe this will be a bit more what we're actually trying to do. That first one, what? Okay, this is giving Seamus way too much cool RPG cred. I think they all are, actually. I mean, this does not look like the kind of Seamus who's buried in the cemetery on Wicklow Street. But perhaps that's just how it is. You know, there's a lot of bling in this one. And the first one is definitely Crusader Kings 3. So I think we're going to have to go for this last one because we've run out of time. But I don't know. I don't know, Seamus. I don't know. This is not feeling like your real self. But I like that you're kind of dead, you know? We can see that you're a bit zombified on the face. So that's working. Okay. Wonderful. Peg, Seamus, death. The devil drinks in the silence, but I think they mean the opposite. This piece here. Can I get all of this into one sharing piece? I can. Can I? Yeah, I can. I would like that. And I would also like to save just, I think, this piece, because this is the one that's really, really giving us something. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And of course, we'll save the whole thing to a nice doc, so we'll have it for later. And with that, I think we have done great justice to A Funeral is Ruined, Conditions Worsen, and our washerwoman coughs. I think we got a lot from our 7 brains. So thank you so much to Sheridan Le Fanu, James Joyce, Charles Maturin, George William Russell AE, Alfred Lord Dunsany, Bram Stoker, and Oscar Wilde. Thank you for collaborating with us out of time and out of space. In all times, third minds everywhere. And thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Martin, and thank you, Riddy, and thank you, everyone who's watching this and thinking about it and doing something with it later. It's great to do Friday Night LAIKA, and we will see you next time. Happy St. Patrick's Day.